Hey, it's Mazzy, welcome back. Now, this video is about what just may be the most beautiful box set ever created. And I mean that musically as well as visually. And that is, for the birds, the Birdsong Project. 20 LPs, a massive, massive set by Randall Poster, the curator who put this together, a music supervisor out of New York who's worked on films from Todd Haynes and Wes Anderson and Martin Scorsese and others, a music archivist in a way. And this project benefits the Audubon Society. I did buy it myself. I bought it at a local Easy Street Records here in Seattle. I pre-ordered it when I first heard about it. These recordings have been rolling out since last spring when it was announced in March or April digitally, and the vinyl box just came out in the last week. And I'll talk about the set. We'll showcase some of the artists. I'll give you an idea what's on here visually as well as musically. When I first heard of the Birdsong Project for the birds, this wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous box set, and I heard what it was about of curating just various artists of genres and pulling them together on a theme, on a thematic journey about birds, and especially during the lockdown and during the pandemic period. I immediately thought of Hal Willner and a project he did in 1981. He was a curator, music supervisor, music director of this wonderful project, Amarcord Nino Rota. Nino Rota was the composer who worked on virtually all of Federico Fellini's films, from 8½, to Julie and the Spirits, to Roma, to Amarcord, and it's very lovely, lively, sometimes circus-driven music. And this was put together, the first project, as I recall, like this, and Hal Willner would go on to produce a number of projects like this, but this was the first, with Bill Frisell and Wynton Marsalis and Carla Bley and Jackie Byard, just neoclassical and jazz and thematic soundtrack like fantasy music. This is an amazing record. And he would go on to do a similar project, music of Thelonious Monk. And my favorite is this, Stay Awake. This is music from Walt Disney, mostly animated features from the 1940s and 1950s and beyond, from Pinocchio to Snow White, to Song of the South, to Peter Pan. Beautiful variety of artists, opening up with Bill Frisell and Wayne Horitz backing up Ken Nordine, that wonderful, amazing voice of the 1950s word jazz. He would go on to voice commercials like Levi commercials and on and on. You have the Roaches, Natalie Merchant with Michael Stipe. You got Los Lobos doing I Want to Be Like You, the monkey song from the Jungle Book. You got Suzanne Vega. You got Sid Straw, Buster Poindexter, NRBQ, Garth Hudson, Sinead O'Connor, Sun Rana's Orchestra. And with all these various genres and types of music, this fits together. And that was the brilliance of Hal Willner. And he's done several series of these types of recordings. He was also the music director for years on Saturday Night Live. This album collection, 20 LPs, 242 tracks. It's a combination of ethereal, musical, ambient recordings by a lot of artists you've heard of. I'm going to go through the book and name some of the artists. I'm not going to go through every artist on here. This set is just a gorgeous, gorgeous set. It has a list here, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. This lists all the artists who are on here alphabetically, and it tells you what LP and what track is on it. There are jazz artists, there are hip hop artists, there are classical artists, there are electronic artists, there are actors reciting poetry. So there's bits and pieces of poetry mixed in with the music. And Randall Poster, when this was first starting out, he reached out. The first artist he reached out to was Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. And they did this beautiful ethereal piece that opens up the record. It's very much like music from his albums Ghost Teen. The music has field recording bird sounds in some cases, electronically created bird artifacts, and it just has a flow that just Oh my God, I've been playing this for the last 2 days, and I finished it. I finished through 20 LPs finally. If you are a music lover, like vinyl box set, buy this for yourself for the holidays. Give it to someone, spend the money. Think about it, you're donating this money to the Audubon Society. So there's $400 plus money you're spending on this. It goes directly to the Audubon Society. I sound like PBS Pledge Night here, but this is worth it. This is the premium you get, and you get to contribute, and you get this beautiful artwork and this beautiful music. And the reason I kind of felt like showcasing this as the most beautiful box ever made is amazing art direction design by Jerry and John Hayden of Smog Design. I followed Jerry's work and John's work for many, many years. She worked at Warner Brothers Records and several others, working with artists like Katie Lang and Van Halen and Madonna, and just beautifully designing albums. This is a stunning box set, just beautifully designed. As I mentioned early on, I thought about Hal Wilner's productions when I heard about this, and I heard about the project, and I didn't know that was influenced by him, and end up, because of his recent passing, this album and this project is dedicated to the great Hal Wilner here. And the 20 albums are in these very thin, but really lovely sleeves, almost like 12-inch single sleeve, lightweight, but these are really beautiful. For the birds, the Birdsong Project. As I flip through the various LP sleeves on here and the booklet, I'm gonna just go through and mention some of the artists who are on here. Again, some are musicians from various genres. They're actors reciting poetry. Alice Coltrane, Andrew Wyatt, Animal Collective, Yoko Ono, Balmorhea. My friend Michael in Los Angeles is half of Balmorhea, the neoclassical ambient on Deutsche Grammophon. Beach House. You got a beautiful instrumental from Beck here, right out of his Sea Change mood period. You got Calexico, Conor Oberst, Daniel Lenoir, Devanda Banhart, the freak folk artist. Elvis Costello reworking some of his older material. Jeff Tweedy, Joaquin Cooder doing a beautiful music. John Cale, Julia Holter, Julian Lang and Bill Frisell, Kaoru Watanabe, Kurt Weill, Laurie Anderson, Leo Ronaldo, who's one of the creative directors on this, executive creative directors, obviously from Sonic Youth. You also have Thurston Moore on a separate track, Loudon Wainwright III, Mark Ronson featuring Damie Albert and Whale. So that's the Birdsong Project, a really cool 20 LP set. 2022 just came out just for the holiday season, but it's been rolling out this entire year. Just a beautiful project, and I'm a big fan of it. And I think it is possibly the most beautiful box set ever created and curated. I'll put a link below to the Birdsong Project site. You can go check out, find out about this, the digital versions that you can online download, some samplings, how to buy it, or just support the Audubon Society and this amazing project. And with my copy, and I don't know if they're with all the copies, I got these Birdsong Project binoculars. These were created by Warby Parker, the glasses company. Actually, these are Warby Parker glasses right now. So this is for bird watching for you or your family members. Check it out. It came as a side package to this collection that I picked up locally at Easy Street Records in Seattle. So thanks for watching, and thanks Randall Poster for curating and collecting this amazing, I don't know how you did it. This is probably one of the most ambitious projects you or anyone else has ever worked on in this scale, in terms of, especially vinyl these days, just getting these pressed and printed. And Jerry and John Hayden, just a beautiful, beautiful set. In fact, it was Jerry Hayden who posted some things initially about that, so that's where I heard about it, since I follow Smog Design on Instagram as well. Thank you again for watching. This is from a beautiful collection. This has nothing to do with the Bird Project. I just happen to be wearing this shirt today. This is from the great label out of Germany, Analog Africa, that curates music from the African continents and South America. And this was a record that came out this past year. So very timely wardrobe for this video. Thanks for watching. Support the Audubon Society, support this project if you can, and see you next time. Mazzy loves you. Bird songs. This was written by Randall Poster. So while in quarantine, I became much more aware of the birds and the bird songs around me. I spent a lot of time listening to the birds singing. I was not alone. It was something that we began to talk about, the beauty of the birds, of the joy and mysteries of birdsong. Given that the situation in the fall of 2020 was sad, strange, and frightening, as plagues tend to be, the fascination with the birds was a magical attraction. Thank God for the birds. It was my colleague and friend, Rebecca Reagan, who had the big idea to create a collection of new pieces of music built around birdsong, with the notion that if artists created pieces of music inspired by birdsong, we could draw attention to the crisis by celebrating the beauty of birdsong. Talking to friends, I came to better understand the profound threat to bird life, disappearing habitats, climate change, and some broadly inhospitable activities have decimated bird populations, pushing hundreds of species to the brink of extinction. The response was overwhelming. 172 unique pieces of music created over the course of the year. Artists I love, artists leading to other artists, artists talking to other artists, every piece thoughtful and distinct, united in birdsong. As the project was developing, we thought that it would be great if we could include some poems that would correspond with the music, and ask some friends and poets and actors if they wanted to read the poems, which are interspread amongst the songs. There are some poems printed in this booklet, and I encourage you to read them aloud. You will enjoy it. Grateful, too, for the artists who created cover art for the collection. Grateful for all those who have shared their love of nature and their commitment to the natural world. Grateful to still be learning so much. And so we are building a community joined to celebrate and protect the birds. We are the birds. Randall Poster.